Listen, one of the reasons we are going early is twofold. One, we have Storm, what's her name? Claudine or something? Storm Claudia or whatever her name is. Oh, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, everyone. We are on and we are live streaming. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking today about and this is a warning to Americans as well. I want this video to be a warning to people in the United States to look at what's been happening in Europe over the last 20 years and think, okay, do you want this stuff coming to the United States? Because trust me, ladies and gentlemen, there is enough firearms in the United States to make the Bataclan look like thank you, Marie, for the roses. Thank you so much for Marie for the roses on TikTok. Thank you. So what I want this video to be, guys, is a warning for Americans initially. And I want people to understand what actually happened at the Bataclan, because we have a wild situation now. And remember how I say, one of the things, one of the tropes of this channel is all wars are pointless. 10 years later, people look back and they're like, yeah, well, everything's back to normal now. And what was the point? So just before we get on to this, guys, okay, the Bataclan attack, as it's now known, was a complicated terror attack by Islamic State. That's the reality. That's what Wikipedia says. I'm going to talk about this, but there were multiple locations. Now, if you live in the United Kingdom, they are so certain in the United Kingdom that that's going to happen in the United Kingdom. They've even got a name for it. They've even got an operational response, and it's called Operation Plato. Now, they've changed the wording a little bit. Listen, guys, this is old school stuff we're talking about. This is old school this is old school espionage. This is old school counterinsurgency. I used to call this a complicated terror attack, which it was called back then. Now they've changed the name to a marauding terror attack, which is what they're talking about right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we get on, can you please like, follow, comment, subscribe? We are triple streaming. We're on YouTube, we're on X, and we are on TikTok. And for you fantastic lot on TikTok, I am going to be closing you guys down relatively early. And then I'll just be continuing this live stream on YouTube and X. And for those of you guys on YouTube and X, again, I'm going to have to close this live stream down now, not least because of because of Storm Claudia. I have to close this thing down early, guys, okay? So what I want to do is, I'll still get through everything. What I want to do is I want to talk about the Bataclan. And just before I give this context, like a couple of days ago, in the Bataclan, they were shouting, I think, free Palestine. Now, this is the scene of the biggest Islamic attack in Europe. And what do I always say? 10 years later, nobody cares. And 10 years later, that very same place where they had the biggest Islamic attack in Europe, they are chanting free Palestine. You couldn't make these things up, ladies and gentlemen, but that is the reality where we are in the world right now. So I'm just going to jump over to the Wikipedia page. I'm going to read you the first paragraph from Wikipedia. I'm going to tell you guys what the Bataclan attack was. I'm then going to give you guys a monologue, and then I'm going to talk about what we've learned from that and how going forwards, how we can make, just take lessons from it, guys, okay? So this is from Wikipedia. November 2015, Paris attacks. A series of coordinated Islamist terrorist attacks took place on Friday, 13th of November 2015, in Paris, France, and the city's northern suburb, Saint-Denis. Beginning at 9:16, three, those people that put those vests on and they go kaboom and they don't come back? Three of those struck outside Stade de France in Saint-Denis during an international football match after failing to gain entry into the stadium. So you guys can understand now, like, one of the things I always warn about is the complicated terror attack, where there are multiple locations at multiple times. Police go over there, boom, boom, boom. Okay, all the police are over there in the emergency services. Right, okay, it's over there now. And let's not think that these things don't happen. Let's not think that these things can't happen, because they do happen. They have happened. And listen, guys, if you live in the United Kingdom, I would say since 2015, we have got more bad guys in the United Kingdom right now. I would say we have got more weapons in the United Kingdom right now. And if you live in America, you guys really need to be paying attention what's happening over here in Europe, over here in the United Kingdom, because I think these things are coming to you very soon. I do. I think these things are coming to you very soon. So there was the three kaboomers outside the Stade de France in Saint Denis during an international football match, and they kaboomered themselves outside after failing to gain entry. So they were trying to gain entry into that stadium. So you can imagine how bad this could have been. Another group of attacks then fired on a crowd in cafes and restaurants in Paris, with one of them also kabooming themselves. And a third group carried out another mass shooting, took hostages at the Eagles of Death concert, which was attended by 1,500 people in the Bataclan theatre, which is just known now. This whole incident was known as the Bataclan attacks. Now, I was reading something on, I'm not going to share it with you guys because I can't find the source material. I was reading something on X about what actually happened inside the Bataclan. Now, I'm not going to share that with you because I can't find the source material, and I'm not going to share what somebody's comments are because it's, you know, I can't find the source material. But if that is true, what they said, this thing here, it's got, excuse me, it gives a whole new meaning to these things, that, you know, to the length and breadth that people will go to hurt people, basically. So there were 1,500 people in the Bataclan theatre, which led to a standoff with the police. The attackers were either neutralized by the police or kaboomed themselves, you know, as the police stormed the building. Now, the attackers in this whole attack, there were 130 people that were transcended into beams of light, which was 90 of those were at the Bataclan theatre. Also, another 416 people were injured, and almost 100 were critically injured. So, in a nutshell, that's what we're talking about, guys. And this happened in 10 years ago today. And that very same place in France now has people chanting free, free Palestine. Like, you know, that is what's happening. 10 years, you know, it looks like that whole place has fallen now, and it looks like they're all pro-Palestine, you know. And how do these things, like, how do these things come together? So I'm going to give you guys a quick monologue now, and I'm just going to give you guys a monologue to try and put yourselves in that I'm going to try and put yourself in that scenario. Imagine you're there, you know, you've gone out with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whoever, I don't know. Your friends, your male friends, your female friends, if you're a girl, which was 10 years ago. The Bataclan was, you know, so imagine it, guys, okay? The Bataclan is alive with music. The Eagles of Death Metal are on the stage. What did we say? 1,000, was it 1,500 people? Packed shoulder to shoulder. They're all screaming the lyrics. They're laughing. There's that electronic hum. You know, people are playing, you know, it's a fantastic night. Fantastic night in Paris. Then the doors open, but not for latecomers. Men dressed in black, AK-47s, kaboomer vests, shouting Allahu Akbar. That's what happened. You know, that's what happened. These people that came into that room, because remember, ladies and gentlemen, in Europe, we're not allowed to arm ourselves. We don't get to arm ourselves in Europe. We are literally just, you know, we just have to phone the police. But the assailants, they didn't rush. You know, they didn't rush. They walked down the aisles like they own the place, reloading. I've got to be careful what I say while I'm on TikTok. They were reloading. They were taking their time. They were trying to cause as much damage as possible, trying to cause as much human collateral as possible. People had their backs turned, trying to get out the exits. The fire exits wouldn't open fast enough. People were crawling under streets. People pressed into corners. People were texting their loved ones, you know, I love you, from bathroom stalls while people were trying to attack them. Upstairs, the survivors managed to barricade the doors with amplifiers, amplifiers and hope, I guess. Downstairs, the floor turned into absolute carnage. 90 people, ladies and gentlemen, 90 people in that one location in minutes. 90 people were gone in minutes. 90 names, 90 families, 90 maybe mums, dads, sisters, brothers, children, certainly gone. Police stormed in just after midnight, and took control of that situation. Now, the reason I brought this out to everybody is to the forefront of everybody. The reason I want to talk about this now is because we are heading towards similar things happening. And let's not pretend that these things are not going to happen. We've already seen lone wolf attacks. What I've always warned about on this channel is this complicated terror attack like the Bataclan, where you've got multiple teams in multiple locations. And right now, guys, I'm going to be honest with you, the United Kingdom is absolutely rife. The United Kingdom is rife for it. And I would speculate that very soon, so will America be. I will think very soon America will be as well. So I'm going to jump onto the chat now, guys. I'm going to jump onto the chat. Good evening, everyone on the chat. Right, sorry, guys, I've not got the chat turned on. Good evening, everyone on the chat. Good evening. Right, I'm going to jump onto the YouTube chat. Good evening, everyone. Trevor is saying, Trevor says he can't decide whether to roast the dinner or not. Right, okay, well, I would roast the dinner. Why not? Why wouldn't you roast the dinner? Peter Victor Charles Williams is saying, Alan Snack Bar. Yeah, they were all chat. Can you imagine it, guys? Like, and if you're in America, like, you really need to open your eyes and understand that this could happen in America. If you live in the United Kingdom, it's almost a certainty that these things are going to happen. I've been warning about this for such a long time. When I started warning about this and started doing videos about, run, hide, fight, I think we need another one of those, actually. I think we need do you know what? Let me... Somebody remind me at the end of this live stream, guys, to do another run, hide, fight video, because I think we do need to do another one of those. So, here in the United Kingdom, we have daily, almost daily, people coming to the United Kingdom, what I would say, do not share our values. And I would say a lot of these people, may not be... I'd say a lot of these people may be sympathetic with Middle Eastern causes. I just want to keep it as polite as possible while I'm on YouTube, TikTok, sorry. So now you've got this scenario where in the United Kingdom, we are getting our shores pumped and filled with people, who don't share our values. And I would speculate, and I've done this quite a long time, I've been saying quite a long time that I think these boat smugglers bring in weapons. When I started talking about this, I started to say the likelihood of a complicated terror attack is high. Now, it turns out the government don't call it a complicated terror attack anymore. They call it a, what do they call it? Somebody help me out. Marauding terror attack. So the government now call a marauding terror attack. So if you guys have been watching my past videos and, and I use those terms interchangeably, I interchange those terms. It's the same thing, A complicated terror attack is what that's like the old school way of describing it. The new way of describing it, what the government are using now, is a marauding terror attack. And the government even know that this is such a high likelihood that they have their own operational code name for it, and it's called Operation Plato. You guys go Google that if you want. So we know these things are coming to the United Kingdom, guys. As far as I'm concerned, it's not if, it's when. Lisa Jane is saying it's absolutely terrifying and disgusting what these people did. The continued trauma the living carry will never leave them and their families and friends. It will never leave them. You're right. You're right, Lisa Jane. Donna is saying Putin military vessel intercepted near U.S. waters. All right, so that could be... Right, I'll Google this real quick. I don't think this is going to be a missile thing. Hang on, let me Google it quick. Putin, right, okay, 11 hours ago, Putin military vessel intercepted near US waters. Whoever writes these things really needs to go to, like, do basic English. The US Coast Guard intercepted a Russian intelligence ship just a few miles south of Oahu. It has been revealed last month. So this was last month this happened. Navy Auxiliary General Intelligence Ship, I can't pronounce that name, was caught in the waters near Hawaii. Right, okay. This was an intelligence gathering ship. It was caught off the coast of Hawaii. So what we're alluding to here and what we're waiting for is the Russians are allying with the Venezuelans have asked the Russians for, let me move that camera, guys, because it keeps swizzling out. There we go. You can see that cyberpunk light on the side. So the Venezuelans have been asking for military assistance from the Russians. They've been asking for radar systems. They've been asking for missile defense, which is literally leading to like a Cuban Missile Crisis 2.0 or like a Venezuelan missile crisis. I don't think the Russian ships will be able to get there. There's too many US ships in and around that area. The United States have got that on lockdown too much. Also, you've got the I think people need to understand what's at stake, because back in the original Cuban Missile Crisis, back in 1962, Vladimir Putin watched this. It was about 11, and I would speculate if we have Cuban Missile Crisis 2.0 or Venezuelan Missile Crisis, I would say Vladimir Putin's not going to back down at all. You know, he will continue. He will get his ship sunk, and then he will fire. There will be a retaliatory strike. Right, I'm going to jump down. Oh, Trevor Pritchard is saying, stepped out of my car today, right into a muddy puddle. Right, so you stepped out. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, there is Storm Claudine. There's 100 flood warnings on at the moment, and I'm gonna throw this out there again, guys. Okay, I am gonna have to close this live stream down early. It's like absolutely blasting it down with rain outside. We've got like little housework jobs we need to do where the water's coming in. So I am going to have to close this live stream down not pretty early, but earlier than I normally do anyway. The Duchess, hello, the Duchess, is saying, my eldest kid's school did their first lockdown today. From what I can gather, it won't be very sufficient if anyone wants to do us harm. Isn't it like, so people say to, like, you know, the girls, their school went into lockdown like a couple of weeks ago. So isn't it a fantastic world that we live in, where our children have to practice hiding under their tables because there are bad people who we know want to attack schools? Isn't that a fantastic world we live in? Like, haven't we done well? Haven't we done well for ourselves? You know, there's a clear line of this, guys. There's a clear direction. There's a clear culprit. There's a clear demographic of the type of person that does this. I don't think on this one, though, guys. I don't think this one is the, I don't think this one's the Norwegian fisherman. But what the Duchess is saying there is, my eldest kid, school on Friday, did their first lockdown today. From what I can gather, it won't be very sufficient if anyone wants to do serious harm. So if you understand what I'm talking about now, ladies and gentlemen, with this Bataclan incident, this was a complicated terror attack. And look, whether you think what I'm saying has any weight or not, just ask yourself this, all right? Like, objectively, ask yourself this. These people that are coming to our shores every day, what countries do they come from? Just ask yourself that. Predominantly, what countries do they come from? You know, Norway, Sweden. You know, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? First question. Okay. Do you think that those guys that are coming over are bringing anything dangling off the side in waterproof bags? I would say they are. Somebody was telling me on, I think it was on YouTube, somebody was telling me the other day that they had, that they were watching a live stream or something, or they were watching a veteran that lives in Dover, and he was saying that there are a lot of boats that come into Dover and they're just not checked. You know, people manage to get those boats into Dover and they just run off. So those boats, do you think that they had a plastic bag at this, like dangling off the side, you know, out the back, because they know the capacity of the RNLI? And they know that if 3 boats go and 3 boats get intercepted on a Tuesday, when Mavis is off sick, do you think they know that send a 4th boat and the 4th boat won't get intercepted? Do you think they understand the timings between how long it takes to intercept one of those boats? I would say they do. And I would say that dangling off the back, they have a lot of contraband, and that sort of stuff is just being taken into taxis, gone straight into the black market, which leads us to the likelihood of a complicated terror attack happening in the United Kingdom at some point. Let's just hope we can get through Christmas, guys. And Silly Gallardi is talking to Lisa, and she's saying, I crave snow. I might take you on your invitation. Yeah, I don't know what you guys are organizing, but yeah, I saw it on the, I don't know if this is what you guys are talking about, but Sarah sent me earlier. There's we have a snow warning for, I think it's the 19th or something. Although I'm a little bit cautious about when I see these snow reports, because I think a lot of it is clickbait. Donna is saying America being given the green light to hit Venezuela, which is intelligence from David Huckstead on YouTube. Right, I'm just going to jump down to the bottom of this chat, guys, and then I'm going to get back onto the onto my little monologue. James is saying, so Trump normally loved to speak to the press, but has gone silent the last few days with these Epstein alleged allegations. Is he on the back foot? Yeah, do you know what? I've not noticed that. I haven't noticed that. What I do know is, like, when you look at, like, Donald Trump and how he addresses the media, and, like, when you look at, like, how Joe Biden addresses the media, yes, I agree there may be something in there, but, equally, we live in the United Kingdom, and it is 10 years, actually, since the Bataclan. So for those of you guys, I will come over the monologue in a minute. So the Bataclan was a mass complicated terror attack in Paris. 130 people transcended to beams of light. I think 416 injured, 100 of those critically. That very same place now, the Bataclan, where they had that attack 10 years ago, they are literally chanting free, free Palestine. You couldn't make this stuff up, guys. You really couldn't make it up. So that is what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Right, you guys on TikTok, I am going to close you guys down now. I do apologize. I'm having to close this live stream down relatively early tonight, guys. I am. This storm, it's blowing the wrong way. It's blowing against a different wall that we never get blown against. So I'm gonna close you guys down now on TikTok. If you want to continue this live stream, and I know you do, jump over to YouTube, guys, okay? I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube, and I'm the Real Raven 1 on X. In fact, you know what? I think you guys need a couple of minutes. I'll be closing you guys down on TikTok in a few minutes, okay? At 16 minutes past. I'll close you guys down at 16 minutes past, okay? That gives you time to jump over. I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube, and I'm the Real Raven 1 on X. But if you're not going to jump over, ladies and gentlemen, don't worry. No, don't worry, because I'll be back on at 10, in fact, before 10 tomorrow morning. Right, so I'm gonna read you this now from this is an article from today, actually. France remembers the Bataclan attacks, but they know the enemy has not gone away. So this leads us into appeasement. So this is leading us now into appeasement. This, so people, when people don't understand, when people are like, oh, why is the government appeasing? Why are they appeasing? Because the government don't want a Bataclan on their hand. So we're becoming slaves in our own country. That's what's happening now. I'm not one for appeasing. I think we should just not appease. We should just say, right, let's just get this over and done with. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Let's get this over and done with. Let's wipe the slate clean and let's move on to a brave new world with broad sunlit uplands. So I'm going to read you this, guys. This is from the BBC, published yesterday. What is it? Yeah, yesterday, sorry. Published yesterday. The headline is, France remembers Bataclan attacks, but knows the enemy has not gone away. Now, that is I don't know if that's not a tip to the hat. I don't know if that's there was something. I think it was Jerry Adams in Northern Ireland. He was the leader of Sinn Féin, and somebody asked him about the IRA, and he said, "Jerry, where's the IRA?" And he said, "They're not gone away, you know. The IRA have not gone away, you know." I do think that's a tip to the hat. Anyway. So just as France marks the 10th anniversary of the Bataclan massacres, another reminder has come to the premise of the jihadist threat. A former girlfriend of the only jihadist to survive the November 2015 attacks has been arrested on suspicion of plotting her own violent act. You can't make this stuff up, guys. You can't make this stuff up. You can't. You literally can't make this stuff up. So 10 years after, the only jihadi to survive the Bataclan attacks, his girlfriend's being arrested on suspicion of plotting her own violent attack. Can't make it up, guys, okay? The woman, a 27-year-old French convert to Islam, I bet she had ginger hair. What do you think, guys? You think she had ginger hair? Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, you guys on TikTok, I am going to close you guys down now. Thank you for hanging out with this evening. I do appreciate it. If you're not going to jump over to YouTube, I will be back on tomorrow morning. At what time will I be back on? I'll be back on at 10, actually. I will be back on at 10. Batten down the hatches, guys, okay? Because there's a big storm at the moment. Like, lots of rain coming down. It's coming from a different direction, which, as we know, some of your windows may not be as waterproof as you think. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close you down now. If you're not jumping over to YouTube, where I'm the Real Raven 1, then I will see you guys in the morning. Right, let's close. Are you guys off? No, you're not. Hang on. Off. Maybe that's... we always get this difficult bit where I can't turn you guys off. Off. Maybe you guys are not going. Maybe you... yes, you are. Yeah, you're definitely going. You're definitely going. Right, I think we're off with those guys. Yes, we are off. We're off on those ones, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we are. Right, I'll continue reading this, guys, okay? So, the woman, a 27-year-old French convert to Islam. Look, guys, I'm just putting it out there. I bet she's got ginger hair. I'm just putting it out there. I bet she's got ginger hair. Named as Maiva B. Began. Oh, no, Maiva B. Sorry, Began. I don't even know. Okay, sorry. Sorry, I totally misread that. I do apologize. The woman, a 27-year-old French convert to Islam named as Maiva B, began a letter-writing relationship to Salah Abdalsam, 36, who is serving a life sentence in jail near the Belgian border following his conviction in 2022. Excuse me. When the prison guards discovered that Abdalsam had been using a USB key containing jihadist propaganda, they traced its origins to face-to-face meetings with that prisoner, Maiva B. There's just a network here, ladies and gentlemen. There's this network. It's like, it's a fundamental network. And one of the things I don't understand, what's the end game? Well, like, literally, what is the end game? You know, I would love to speak to, I'd love to speak to like one of the, yeah, I would. I'd love to speak to one of these fundamentalists and say, okay, mate, right, with all due respect, I'm totally straight up. I want to know the answers to this. What is your end game? Like, what do you want to achieve? Do you want to achieve like the whole world, like praying 5 times a day and wearing like burqas? Is that what, like, and I'm being like 100%, and I wouldn't be rude, you know, I wouldn't be rude. I'm genuinely interested. I because it fascinates me. Like, we've got a world, we've got a universe to explore. We've got space, we've got the moon, we've got like technology, and some people want to like do crazy stuff like that, and it never, like, I never understand it. Maybe my mind just can't compute. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, listen, guys, like I said, I am going to have to close this live stream down in a couple of minutes. Let me try and get as many comments as I can, and then I'll give you guys an update on Storm Claudia, and then we will be closing this down, guys, okay? I do apologize. Storm Claudia is hitting our house, and we found holes that we didn't realize we had, and those holes are, you know, I'm not going to lie, guys, those holes are soaking. Right, hang on. Donna Hook with a fantastic thumbnail of like I think it's like a cat holding a frisbee or something. He's saying they do have them big ginger beards when they're living with them. Yeah, I think that was in. And John Giles is saying it's a ginger ninja. I don't know, guys. Maybe I'm going to assume she's a ginger. I'm gonna assume the lady is a ginger. This convert's a ginger. Donna is saying any choice is a hard choice. Oh, when it comes to kids, right? I don't know what you guys are talking about. Trevor Pritchard is saying most of us have red in our hair, but the ginger is one of the most rarest in the world. Ginger and sky blue eyes. I don't know. I don't know. Look, guys, all I'm saying is with the ginger hair, you see a lot of ginger Muslim converts. Now, I don't know what it is, but you do see, like, disproportionately Muslim converts, like, and they've got ginger hair. I don't know, guys. Look, guys, I'm doing pattern recognition. I'm only doing pattern recognition, all right? Jake is saying, concentrate on just English and maths. Do GCSEs at 14. They thrive better than many schoolers. Are we talking about... All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think what Jake's saying here, you know, your kids can do well at school. They can be doing great. And then a crazy person comes in, and what chance do they have at school? Silly Gallardi is saying there is an Israeli journalist. Right, guys, I'm not going to try and pronounce this. I do apologize. I mean, no disrespect to anyone. Absolutely no disrespect to anyone here. I can't pronounce that name. I'm not even going to attempt. I'll just call him T. All right. I'm just calling him T. So T infiltrated mosques in Europe, pretending to be a Muslim, and shows what's going on, and it's not good. I would agree, Silly. I've seen a lot of these articles. People are blind. People are sleepwalking, and unfortunately, I think the worst is going to happen at some point, like the likes we've never seen. James is saying, I used to go out with a redhead. She had no hair, just a redhead. Right, okay. I hope you're not being serious. I hope you're not being serious. What's that guy off? What's that guy? The bad guy on? What's the bad guy on Captain America? I can't remember his name. Anyway, that's the one I'm thinking about. Band again is saying Endgame is world for Allah. So I don't know, guys. Look, and I'm genuinely like, if there's any Muslims watching, and like, I would love to talk to you. Especially the fundamentalists who want like Islam to rule the world. I just want to know, like, okay, right, let's just hypothetically, that's the world, the way the world is. Everybody's praying 5 times a day. Like, how does society function? Like, where do we go from there? Is there a more radical sect that's going to take over and make people pray 10 times a day? Like, where do you go with that? Like, you know, after, like, I don't think people have thought this through. Look, guys, and I'll be quite clear to you guys, I'm like against all wars. I'm pro space travel, and I want humans to leave this planet and have a colony on Mars, a colony on the moon, solar panels around the sun, all that stuff. I don't see how you can do that if you're praying 5 times a day. Your efficiency goes down drastically. Claudia is a naughty lady, prioritizing protecting your place. I will do. Thank you, positive programming. I will. Listen, let me give you guys a quick update on Storm Claudia, and then, guys, listen. I do apologize. I'm gonna have to close this. I'm gonna have to close this relatively short. Hang on. And John Giles is saying, I actually blame our government more than the Muslims. They are the ones who are, yeah, I agree, you know, and this is what's going to happen. So, guys, listen, I'm just going to do this and then I'll come on to give you guys a Storm Claudia update. So, yes, but what will happen is, like what happens in every insurgency, the bad guys or the splinter groups will start to target politicians, because what they will find is, right, all these protests, they don't have any effect. Nothing happens. We are going to go and target the politicians, the decision makers, the military, the industrial bases. That's where people are going, and that's the next step. Right, let me jump over, guys, and get Clome. I keep saying Clome Stodia. Do you know what? I'm just going to call it Clome Stodia. It's Clome Stodia from now on, ladies and gentlemen. Right. Clome Stodia Live. Cold weather alert. Oh, I didn't realize there's even a cold weather alert as well. Yeah, I definitely need to get a lot of wood on this fire, guys, okay? Storm Claudia cold weather alert issued as more than 100 flood warnings in place across the United Kingdom. I'm trying to get... Right, do not... Right, okay, wow, okay. There's a... Do you know what? I'll share this with you guys, because there's an interactive map, and I'm not going to be able to read all the part. Oh, let me get rid of the ads. Jesus. Wow, the ads. Do you know what? I don't even think I can read this, because the ads have just gone crackers. Right, let me... that off. Can I turn that off? Right, now, I'm going to share this with you guys, but I'll only do it for a couple of seconds, all right? There's an interactive map, and it's got all the locations where the flood warnings are. I'm just going to do it for a couple of seconds, guys, okay? So you can see there's a lot of flood warnings there all over the United Kingdom. Mainly here in this, like, Lake District area, you've got, like, some red alerts, but the rest of the United Kingdom, especially this Midlands, West Midlands, Birmingham, I would say Birmingham, Chesterfield, Sheffield, Manchester, Doncaster, all that area, you've got storm warnings. Then you've got some in, in Exeter. Is it Exeter? Not Exeter. Is that? Yeah, Exeter down there. I think Plymouth as well. Obviously, North London and Norwich. So those of you guys are watching, I'm just gonna leave it there. But go and check that out, guys. Okay, because we're not used to this type of weather in the United Kingdom, and when these things happen. People are often caught with their pants down. Right. Somebody just said I'm wrong. Hang on. Amira Cricket is saying, you're wrong, Raven. Many countries have been taken without good fuck around and find out, with total silence from the world. Just at this age, we start to wake up on Islam, and it's not really enough. Yeah, you know what, actually, Yeah, I agree. If you look at the first crusade that followed 400 years of Islamist domination over those regions. But guys, listen, I need to close this down, and I need to close this quick. Okay, so let's just go back through what we were talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so the Bataclan, 130 people lost their lives in Paris. 10 years on, we literally have people in that same place chanting free Palestine. You couldn't make these things up. This was a complicated terror attack, and what I'm saying now is the likelihood of a complicated terror attack in the United Kingdom, I've been saying it's high. The government also believe it's high because they've got an operational name to deal with it. It's called Operation Plato, or Pluto. I think it's Plato, Operation Plato. We know these things have happened, guys. We know these things get called. That's in the United Kingdom. And if you're in the United States, take this as a warning, guys, okay? Take what's happening in Europe, take what's happening in the United Kingdom as a warning, because what I'm seeing happening in the United States is a slow move forwards to what we have in Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to close this down now. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to have to close it down. I'm going to have to close it down pretty quick because, we've got Clome Stodia. Clome Stodia's battering the house. I need to put the wood on the fire, guys. It's going to get cold. I will be back on tomorrow morning at 10. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my stuff on your socials, guys, and just give a thought, about what things can happen when we're talking about a complicated terror attack. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close you guys down now. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys in the morning.